I just want to mention something. This is the most boring live area I have ever seen. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Terraria! Yeah! Whatever. So, this is a game of some kind. I have no idea whether to do this as a sort of beginners or experts look at Terraria, because I'm not even an expert, so I'd fail at the second one. But it's a tough sell. It's like pretty much everybody you possibly know knows exactly what Terraria is and has probably finished it. I am pretty much the only person I know that has only tried to finish Terraria and have actually done so recently, and by recently I mean on this version, because the PC version bored me to tears. I don't know why that's a thing, but that's a thing. So I guess we'll just go and have a look at it from both a beginner and an expert point of view, because I do have some stuff set up and ready to go. But anyway, you get 5 character slots for your character. If you make one, you can customize plenty of different things about them. The hair type, the color, their eyes, the skin, the shirt, the pants, the shoes, yeah. And I also like the idea of the difficulty. Drop all your items, die permanently, or just drop some money. That's actually pretty cool. And if you press triangle, you can randomize most of the stuff on your characters. But I'm going to go and play as my character. Now, I have not played multiplayer on this yet, and I can't tell you how well that actually works. Yeah, sorry, that is a thing. But I imagine it works okay. I mean, I've been talking to a couple of people, and some people haven't been able to connect at all. But I imagine that's because their internet isn't set up properly, maybe? I'm not sure. But when you start your world, you get the option to not only play it online, but to set it as invite only. But we won't be doing any of that to stop any people from dropping in on my world. Don't know why anybody would do that in the middle of this recording, but whatever. So we're going to start the game. I made a large world, so this is a pretty big world to start with. Just gotta wait for it to load. It takes a little bit. Alright, so this is Terraria. I am currently doing kind of well for myself, kind of. I have made a couple of houses for all the NPCs. For those of you who don't know what Terraria is, this is basically a 2D well, it's not really a 2D Minecraft, even though that would be a fair comparison. It's more of a Metroidvania style game with building elements. So yeah, that's the thing. So you're this character here, and you go around these worlds looking for resources and harvesting them, and then you bring them back, and you press triangle and you can craft stuff. So it's pretty obvious that you can craft stuff, as you can see here. You can craft a lot of stuff. You need to get the resources for it though, so you do have your typical set of tools, like your axes, your hammers, your pickaxes. This is actually a pretty close to hard mode game, which means that it's basically a harder difficulty with more enemies and such. But we're just playing on normal for now. So these NPCs, you got to give them a building, as you can see here, with a back wall and walls and a chair, a light source, and a table in order to get them to move in. And they do different things. I didn't mean to do that. So if we talk to one of these guys here, like this guy here, this is Gus. He's a vendor, and he sells stuff. That's pretty cool. And you've got plenty of other people too, like Dominique there is a gunsmith, and there's a construction man, there's our guide, there's our nurse. They each do different things, and it's useful to keep some of them around, especially when you need them for something. Like this girl in here sells sunflowers, so when corruption starts spreading, you can stop it in its tracks. Here's the inventory screen. Thankfully, most of this stuff here can actually be controlled using the touchscreen. So as you can see here, I'll go equip, crafting, equip, crafting, tap, 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 tap. And you can drag and drop stuff. I'm just gonna drag that stuff to the trash bin. So this is a pretty late game setup, as you can see, and anybody who's an expert Terraria player would have noticed those two items that I had on the right side there. But, okay, let's go out and explore the world a little bit. I've already actually done a lot of world exploring. If I press select, it'll bring up my minimap. And I've already done a lot of exploring, not only downwards, but to the left and the right as well. So I've gone almost all the way to the right. And pretty much all the way to the left. There's a lot of corruption over there, but I took care of most of it. Yep, that's a dungeon. We'll be going to that. So the idea is that you go around this world a lot like Minecraft, and you get resources. You take the resources, you craft them into more stuff, you go around the world, you beat enemies, you do all sorts of silly stuff, get all sorts of cool little artifacts, like for example, that double jump is because of a cool little item that I picked up from a boss. And you do have a sort of equipment system. So as you can see, I've got a shadow helmet, a gold chainmail and gold greaves, which gives me some armor, and you've also got a vanity slot set over here, and I've also got a bunch of accessories, like this flipper lets me swim, this lets me move a little bit faster, this lets me double jump, this lets me slowly regenerate life, and I get an extra defense for that. There's also a bunch of buffs up there, which you get for doing armor sets and spells and all that. I actually haven't gotten around to getting many spells yet, which is kind of odd. Also, you've got your housing stuff here, and you've got the ability to check your housing to make sure that it's actually up to snuff. Now, people may be asking, wasn't Terraria a PC game? Well, Terraria is indeed a PC game, and they had to accompany the people who wanted to use the two different types of controls. So there are two different types of controls. The first is the smart cursor, which is on by default. And it tries to automatically determine what you want to use your cursor on. So for example, I've got my axe out, so it detects that I want to use it on the trees automatically, which is correct. But then there are times where it's like you want to mine specific blocks, and you can't do that because the smart cursor is too dumb to figure out that you want to do that. Also, by the way, you can use the rear touchpad as a cursor alternative, and it works a lot better with the manual cursor. So if you tap the manual cursor button down here, you get the manual cursor. And you can do whatever the bloody hell you like with this cursor. You can hammer specific blocks, you can place down specific blocks, like this. Just like that. Not a problem at all. And yeah, there's not much else to the smart cursor really. Again, you can use the rear touchpad for this, but the rear touchpad isn't actually that useful because it can actually be a little bit slippery, and getting to exactly where you want to be quickly and precisely is relatively difficult to pull off, which is a shame, really. It'd be kind of cool to have a really good controlling version of Terraria, but I guess this isn't it. So we got enemies. I've got a phase blade. It's basically a lightsaber. It's one of the mid-tier weapons. Oh wait, no, this is actually pretty late game because it's more powerful than the big sword I made. But most of the idea of the base game when you're starting off is just to mine into underground caverns, which I might as well take the opportunity to show because, well, it's not nighttime yet, and I kind of need it to go to nighttime before I actually do what I want to do first. So I'm going to go and check out my mine shaft that I've made in my house. I really don't know what to tell you guys about Terraria. It's just, do I assume they're all experts, or do I assume they're amateurs, or do I try and assume both and probably bore both ends to tears? So, I'll just keep going the way I'm going, hope this works. So, this is a mine shaft that I've created. I've created wooden platforms so I can basically just, you know, hop my way up and come all the way down as much as I like. And we've got all sorts of different resources. And there's all sorts of things you can find too. You can find underground dungeons, you can find underground chests, you can find... Eventually you have to go all the way down into hell. And there's actually a lot of content in this game, but it has that weird issue of not being very upfront. The one dedicated way to finding out what you need to do next is to ask the guide, and sometimes he doesn't help you because you need to figure out something for yourself. And that might annoy some people, because this game is very much a wiki game. And as you can see here, this is a little thing I found while I was digging down with this chest. It's empty right now because I took all the stuff, but there's all sorts of different potions and different types of ammunition and all sorts of stuff that you can find. That was a slime there and it poisoned me. That's not good. Also, I can't bloody see, so I'm going to probably put a torch down here. Back to the manual cursor. Put the torch down, smart cursor. Oh, bloody hell. Oh yeah, I remember. I have to go up this way. As you can see, I'm trying to build basically what they call a helevator straight down, but I'm not very good at it. It's not very straight. But yeah, as you can see, you go down and then you go to hell. But I'm not gonna go down there yet, because I'm definitely not equipped for it. I could definitely do with some better armor and some better equipment. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back up. Oh, actually, hold on, there's some ore here. So if we take the ore... copper ore. We can take it back. There's a red slime there, which will actually drop some gel. I've got to be getting close to nighttime soon, and I'm really failing at getting up these sets of wooden platforms. Yep, it's nighttime, so I better be quick about this. Manual cursor. Or smart cursor, I should say. So depending on where you're standing, in terms of where you've got stuff in front of you, you can make all sorts of different stuff. So, I'm at an anvil, so I'm pretty sure right now I can make all sorts of different armors. But which I don't have the ores to do that. You can also make different bars, but I don't have the ores I require. Actually, yeah. Well, I've got 3 there. I've got 3 copper ores, but I need to be in front of a furnace. Furnace is over here. Make a bar, and then you can use that to make all sorts of different equipment, and it just proceeds along like that. Nice and expected. Now, there are all sorts of different things that can happen in this game. Allow me to demonstrate one of them. There's all sorts of different weird items you can pick up or craft yourself. You want to know what happens when you use some of these items? They awake boss monsters. So let's take out one of these boss monsters just for the fun of it, shall we? Whenever it wants to show its face. There it is. So now, you can use the phase blade on this bastard too, but I'm going to choose and use my musket, which is actually a gun. There are all sorts of different there's all sorts of different weaponry in this game. There's actually grappling hooks, which help you, fight, help you actually explore places, which I'm probably not going to be using. But as you can see, I'm using the smart cursor right now, and it is pretty much like a twin-stick shooter, only really slow. So yeah, I am using the R button to, this is actually pretty much exactly what you expect in terms of controls. I am moving around with the left stick, I'm firing with the R button, I'm aiming with the right stick. It is a pretty expected set of, controls. However, if I press a button on my D-pad, I've got some items already lined up in terms of, quick slots. Now, this quick slot system is actually pretty new to Terraria on the Vita, and I imagine on the other console ports, where you can actually use things like potions directly from it. So if I press down right there, I use a health potion immediately instead of having to equip it and move it along. Also, you can use the touchscreen to select an individual item from the top bar of items that you have equipped in your inventory, or you can tap on the left and right side of the screen, like near the top, and it'll actually cycle through those items, which is actually a pretty neat trick. The game actually controls really well. I mean, like, for a game that's, a PC port of all things, it actually controls kind of well. There are definite problems with it. For example, it's hard to be accurate and fast at the same time, but there's not much you can really do about that when you're not working with a mouse. But, it's alright. I have nothing against the developers for, not being able to pull this off in the best way possible, because it's like, how can you when you're used to working with a mouse and you can't work with a mouse, so, yeah, that's a thing. So I'm just going to go and put my money in my chest before we go and do something else. You do get money, and you do get money from killing things, and you can spend it on different items from the shop owners, and you can also, you know, just hold on to it like a madman. Don't know why you would do that, but okay. So it is actually really dark in my world now, so I'm gonna just, you know, pull out a torch and take it with me. So let's just go for a little bit of a trek across the land. And while I'm at it, I might as well talk about the amount of content. As I said before, there is a lot of content in this game. Most of it you have to find yourself, which can get quite annoying. This game is that sort of game where you want to be either a wiki or a friend who's relatively knowledgeable in the subject. And sometimes it's a little hard. I've actually been playing by myself this entire time. So, you know, A, forever alone. B, I'm not really 100% sure what I'm supposed to be doing without a wiki. And for people that get really annoyed with that stuff, I can understand why you would want to avoid this game. You do get the guide to tell you what you can possibly do, but that's not too much of a help in comparison, really. There's also the price. The game is $15. I think PlayStation Plus owners, if they get it in the next couple of days, get like $1.50 off. But that's no guarantee. I'm just recalling from memory here. To be fair, this is a perfectly good port, and I do quite enjoy this a lot, especially since the fact that, you know, it's bloody Terraria on a portable. Being able to do this on a portable is really cool. It's just, I can pick it up anytime I like and just play whenever I feel like it. And it's hard to argue against being able to play it anytime you like. I could never play it on PC because I was always a bit of a guy who doesn't like sitting down on his PC for way too long playing games like this. But now that I can pick it up, play it for about 10 minutes and then just stop anytime I like, that's the sort of game I like, and I really enjoy Terraria for that purpose alone. So we've just hit something called the corruption. Now the corruption is something that appears in every Terraria world. It can only be stopped by metal or sunflowers, and if it gets too far, your NPCs will get really unhappy, and also it's actually kind of a dangerous place to be. Especially at night when you can barely see what you're doing, because there's chasms everywhere and there's all sorts of different things that can kill you. It's also one of the places you need to go to finish the game, so it's all about... This game's all about exploring the world, getting yourself powerful enough to take on the next set of challenges, and it is actually quite fun in that respect. You slowly feel yourself moving along in Terraria, getting more stuff done, getting more items, crafting more stuff, not getting eaten as much by Eater of Souls. I mean, like, if I was using just a crappy sword right now, and I had no armor on, I probably wouldn't stand a chance, but since I've got really good armor on, I can last for as long as I damn well please. And that's the sort of thing that Terraria makes you feel good about. You slowly move along, you craft armor, you mine ores, you craft better weapons, you craft better gear, you find stuff, you beat monsters, you beat bosses, you get special things, you get things like magic spells. I haven't actually gotten any spells yet. You get attacked by goblin armies, you get struck by meteorites. It's a game that rewards discovery, and that's a weird thing. I usually don't like games that do that, but this is actually a really good example of rewarding discovery. I'm just waiting for the sun to come up because I can't bloody fight this boss in the dark. It's just impossible. At least for me. I'm sure someone on the internet has done it. And it's just one of those games where progress is actively rewarded, and I do admit I like it a lot. You always have something new to go do. At least for a good, I don't know, 20 hours. Some people can play Terraria for a very, very long time, and, you know, the guy's continuing to make, patches and stuff for it, which is actually kind of cool. And you know what? Screw it. Let's fight this, second boss in the dark. So I have made the two boss items, and here's the second one. It's called the Worm Food, and it brings out the Eater of Worlds. You want to know who the Eater of Worlds is? Giant fucking worm! that you can hit multiple times if you like. You know, and I don't like being stuck in there. As you can see, I'm basically just tearing him apart at this point. And once you take out some parts, they split into other parts, and it turns into one giant battle for supremacy. I'm just going to drink my last health potion and hope I don't fall to my death. I actually know what's down here, it's water, so I'm safe. As you can see, he flees in absolute horror that I am striking him with a lightsaber and not feeling any pain. Just may want to be careful here because I am running out of health pretty quickly. I mean, like, I am getting health back from taking this guy out, but it comes pretty slowly if you're not careful. There's a demon altar! There's all sorts of tiny little things you can find in this game just by walking around and falling into holes and being like, well, what's that? I should have a look. But then again, there are some things in this game that feel really badly explained by the game itself, and this is why the game is called one of those games that requires a wiki. And I wouldn't blame you for saying that you don't like games. Uh-oh. Okay, thank Christ. I actually got more health from them. I've defeated the Eater of Worlds, hooray! So that was the second boss. Now, I'm just going to use this magic mirror to teleport myself back to my home base, and what did we get? Well, we got a ton of Demonite ore, which is nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make something of that. So, I showed off the crafting system a little bit before, but let's just craft some more Demonite bars. And see what we can make with it. Well, we can make a Light's Bane, but I already own one of those, so no point. Let's see. If we're at an anvil, so we can make more tools. I can make a War Axe of the Night. I can make a Nightmare Pickaxe, but I already own that. A Meteor Hamax. I wonder why that's a thing. But as you can see, you can craft all sorts of stuff, but I want to go and get some armor. So let's go and get some Shadow Scale Mail? Is that what I'm looking for? Yeah, Shadow Scale Mail will give me 2 extra defense, so I want to make one of those. And I'll just equip it on here and give my guy this gold armor. Throw this armor in the trash can. Which basically means as soon as you throw something out on top of that, it'll destroy that previous item. How many bars do I have left? I have 6 left. Alright, well I got a fair amount of money from that fight, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go talk to Dominique. Because he's the easiest to sell shit to. Sometimes you have to use the manual cursor to manually select who you want to talk to. It's kind of annoying. So I'm just going to sell off these Demonite bars, and you know, some people would really tell me off for doing this, but it's actually a pretty easy way to get money. And I've got pretty much all I need in terms of resources, and if I need more resources, I can just go and fight the boss again. It's not like it's a major hassle. And yeah, I'll just sell all that off, go back down to my money chest, put all the money in the money chest. I nearly have enough money for a minigun. Yes, there are miniguns in this game. Hold on, I'll just drag this in here, take the gold coin and put it back there. Oh dear. And I've got another gold coin worth of silvers. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that either, okay, whoops. Screw it. Screw it, we're just moving on. Actually, hold on, can I make a mana crystal right now? I think I can. Yes, I can. So I just made myself another mana crystal. There are also heart containers, which you find, well, heart crystals below the surface, which you find to increase your health. I'm trying not to tell you people much about this game, because it's like, I know there are some people who haven't played this game before, but then there are people that have, and it just feels weird trying to cater to both of you at the same time. So I'm just gonna head left, and we're gonna go and check out a dungeon. Unfortunately, it's pretty bright daylight, so by the time I get there, it might actually not be... I might not actually be able to, you know, enter the dungeon. Hello, green slime. Also, I've noticed this. Sometimes they just get stuck in here, and you can't hit them, but they can hit you. It's kind of odd. But when you walk away, they free themselves. It's a bit odd. I wonder if that's a bug they intended to... Well, no, of course it's not a bug they intended to do. I love the music, too. Just the music and the graphical style. I mean, like, the graphical style is obviously lo-fi, but I really do like it. It's nice to look at. You never get sick of it. And that's one of the most surprising things about this sort of retro style. Some games do it so well to the point where you never get sick of them. And that's weird. That's really weird. So I'm passing through the corruption again. I have defeated the Eater of Worlds without much of a hassle, so I can pass through here without much of a problem. Yawn. Gotta be careful not to fall in there, though. More coins! Hooray! I'm rich! Alright, so we're in the desert now. There are different types of biomes in this game, and they all have different things about them. Like the jungle biomes are basically dungeons in themselves, which is pretty funny in my opinion. They have their own little sets of caves and their own set of items, and you need to go through it to get like one of the ultimate swords. Just build a giant wood platform over here. I'm not really sure what else to say. I'm sure you figured it out by now. Build stuff, do whatever you like, be as creative as you can possibly be. There's all sorts of different walls you can make, there's all sorts of different types of buildings you can build. It's limited to pretty much your imagination, which is, you know, it's hard to describe these sorts of games because it's like, well, you can do whatever the damn hell you please. Well, what does that mean? But still... it's one of those games that you can really just enjoy yourself in. I mean, like, mining in Terraria is really weird because it's like, you can suck away your life in seconds. Like, I looked down to start some mining, looked up, and about 20 minutes had passed. And I swear I didn't feel any of it, it just came and went. Definitely one of those styles of games. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to fast forward to when it's nighttime and I'm at the dungeon I was talking about and, you know, go down in there into something I haven't actually done yet. So, yeah, when I'm at that, I'll just fast forward the video here, and when I get to that, I will fast forward time until it's nighttime. Okay, we're back! I am pathetic. I cannot hope to face the master as I am now. Well, let's do it. I have awoken Skeletron! Oh, bollocking bollocks! Oh, this isn't good. This is bad. This is very bad. This is bad and well, that was a gigantic waste of time for absolutely nothing. My god, there's even something I can't beat yet. Good lord. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this look at Terraria. I sure haven't. That was a bloody waste of time for me. But at least you can see what the game is about. You go and mine stuff, you craft stuff. You mine more stuff, you craft more stuff. You fight enemies, you defeat bosses. You find more stuff and more stuff and more stuff, and it keeps going like that. This is basically a 2D Metroidvania in a procedurally generated world, and it's a great game. Except, you know, for some reason it bored me to tears on PC, but now that I can play it on Vita, it's much easier to pick it up. And it's actually a decent port. I can't argue with the idea that the, well, it looks and sounds just like its PC predecessor. And its controls are perfectly workable. They're not amazing, but they work. With a couple of slight annoyances. Would I recommend this if you're a fan of Terraria and you want to carry it around with you? Absolutely. If you're new to the series, well, you know, if you want to play it on Vita and you don't have a PC, or you don't really like the idea of playing it on PC, well, go ahead and pick it up too. The PC version's always going to be the superior one. This isn't at the latest patch as of yet, although it does include some of the things from it, like that campfire. 1.2 is actually going to be coming in terms of DLC, so yeah, that's a thing. But yeah, this has been a look at Terraria. Good port, good game, buy it if you want. It's a pretty damn good one. This has been Blue Maxima. I failed massively at Skeletron. I'll see you all next time.